Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about how I believe the zodiac sign Aquarius can be manipulated, and yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Well, anyway, people, first thing up is I just want to state that this video is, and the videos I've been doing on how the zodiac signs can be manipulated, they're not so much as to instruct people or give people insight into ways to manipulate the zodiac signs. What they are about is that the zodiac signs in question in the videos, that they're the ones, they can get some insight and have some conception on what to, as far as what to look for in terms of if somebody may be trying to manipulate them, and what signs and what things may be done to them where they could maybe look at that and say, well, yeah, this is this person might be trying to manipulate me. So anyway, first thing up is, well, as a child, Aquarius, sadly, they may be manipulated by the threat of taking away electronic or computer items. Aquarius people are often enamored with those. They could be remote control devices. It could be even a model rocket. It could be something like, could be computers, walkie-talkies, handheld video, or electronic. It could be electronic games. So Aquarius can be a sucker for this, sadly. And though if the threat of these items being relinquished, if that is stated to them, they could often go for that, and that will often get the parent to get Aquarius to do what the parent wants Aquarius to do. So the thing about this is, another thing too, and I understand this could apply to any zodiac sign, but Aquarius perhaps more so than the others. I mean, Aquarius can be the universal friend of the zodiac, as I've stated in previous videos. The thing about it is the threat of their friends not being able to come over, or not being able to have interaction with them, or not being able to go visit their friends. Anything with friendship interaction in general, the threat of that being taken away could put Aquarius in a very strong state of fright and trepidation. Having their computer or the internet taken away from them could be another thing too. Now, I understand that could be a way to get any kid, and especially in today's contemporary age where the internet is so popular, and social media. But Aquarius even more so. I see Aquarius as the sign that is connected strongly with social media, social networking. And again, I've stated about them being the universal friend of the zodiac. They are often, often Aquarius may have many friends, whether it's on their Facebook page or what have you. And the thing about this is, it could be where the parent could say to the Aquarius child that I'm going to change these parental controls on your computer, make it more stringent, where you're not going to be able to go onto your social media sites. Can be another way to manipulate, where Aquarius might be manipulating. Another thing, and this could apply, this could be as a child and an adult. And the thing about it is, well, I'm going to talk about examples as far as a parent goes to the child. Now, a parent may ask the Aquarius son or daughter to do something, and Aquarius might just do the antithesis of what was requested. That could be the ploy of the parent to get Aquarius to do the opposite, because Aquarius often instinctively, it's not that they're really that difficult or that disputatious, but they could be the nonconformists of the zodiac. They often may instinctively rebel against what was asked them and automatically go the opposite direction. Now, an example could be, a parent could act apathetic and say, hey, you know what? Stay out as late as you want. I don't really care. Stay out, no curfew. And the Aquarius might just say, you know what? Maybe I'll just come home at maybe 9 p.m. It's almost like they just have to do something that's non-conforming, or it's got to be going the other direction, or something where they could seem unpredictable, where they want to surprise somebody. But if that is the case, if the parent is trying to do this to Aquarius, it would really be no surprise to the parent, because that's what the intention may be. So anyway, and also Aquarius also has a very strong freedom and independence syndrome, I call it. Just forbidding Aquarius to do various things could be another method of this manipulation. The threat or I should say the threat of Aquarius not being able to do just a lot of different things in general that he or she may like, because Aquarius wants to have that freedom to do whatever it may be. And the thing about it is, a parent could say, well, you know what? If you don't do such and such for me, you're not going to be able to do this, or to go to that place, or go there, or do this action. Aquarius does not want to be held and restrained in any way, shape, or form. They are, another thing too. If you look at, let's say Aquarius is in an employment situation. An authority figure or supervisor may attempt to get Aquarius to do what he or she wants him to do. Could be maybe the threat, or it could just be the action of putting Aquarius on a very super regimented, consistent schedule, or making that job much more predictable, monotonous. Aquarius, is a fixed sign, granted, but they often like to be able to do different things, different days, not have everything so regimented and the same. It's not so much like Gemini, how Gemini likes to have that variety, but Aquarius likes a little unpredictability, spontaneity, a little surprise every now and then, something a little different at least every now and then, I think, injected into whatever it is they're doing. And they are, this is a sign, that is really what I see as Aquarius being about. So if a supervisor is in your Aquarius, a supervisor is like all of a sudden just try to get everything all consistent and regimented for you. It might be that they may be trying to get you to leave in some cases, I believe. Another thing, or making things too predictable, too monotonous. The thing in maybe inhibiting Aquarius from doing certain actions, such as maybe going outside for breaks and things of that nature. If something like that is happening, it could be that maybe the supervisor of Aquarius is trying to get him or her to leave, but not actually saying so, trying to do so maybe in their own subtle way. Now, also too, and a supervisor that may be overly domineering, dictatorial, overly authoritative can exasperate Aquarius, and that could be a way that might get Aquarius to leave. And if all of a sudden, say you're Aquarius and you're with a supervisor and they seem like you feel fairly compatible with them, and everything's copacetic, there's no reason, you don't think, for that supervisor or authority figure, what have you, to be agitated at you. But let's say all of a sudden something happens and they just become more domineering, they become more controlling, more dictatorial. That could be a sign that if that change happens suddenly, that they could be trying to get you to leave. Another thing, going back to the domineering thing about authority figures in Aquarius, this could be, they just simply don't like to have somebody hovering over them, figuratively speaking. They like to be able, Aquarius can work well, I believe, in a subordinate or supervisor role. A subordinate or subservient role, I should say. But they like to be able to have their freedom to kind of do what they want, sometimes at their own pace. Aquarius can often, Aquarius is more, they could work in groups and do things in a collective and work collectively, but sometimes they could actually work well very independently at the same time. Now, either way, they still often don't want somebody hovering over them. Now, they might actually work better when the supervisor gets in the mix, so to speak, and actually works with them instead of just like maybe scrutinizing them and watching, monitoring virtually every move that is made. Hold on a minute, people. Sorry about that, I'm back again. Well, another thing is, Aquarius is often about, they're connected with the future. In an employment situation, again, if what happens is, let's say that, Aquarius might be suckered by, it's go a couple different ways as far as the future goes in an employment position. Aquarius might be promised in some cases with great retirement plans, 401k or whatever, in order to entice them to go to be with the company. Prospective employers might sense and be cognizant of the fact that this person, the Aquarius person, is really strongly about having something in a plan which would be good for their retirement in their future. Progressively make more money gradually as time progresses. Have something for that future after their employment time is up, for their retirement. That Aquarius is often synonymous with this future. They could be enticed by this, and sometimes, the employer may or may not follow through on this. And in some other cases where, and also another way this could be, is that sometimes it may go the opposite way, that a prospective employer, or maybe even a current one, could try to dissuade Aquarius from being at this job or taking it, depending on whether it's an interview or whether Aquarius is already at that position, at that job. The authority figure or someone prominent in Aquarius's career could say something like, well, there's no there's really this job is just such where they're going to be taking these or the benefits are going to be relinquished, and we're not going to be able to have much as far as retirement goes, or 401k or less stock options or something where which could dissuade Aquarius from perhaps staying at that position. And whether in some cases that may actually be a true statement, and other times it may be something as a tactic or ploy or what have you to get Aquarius to leave, I believe, because a lot of people that get to know Aquarius very well, which is hard to do, of course, but the few that may see that they are more strongly about a position that has a future more so than the average person. Now, another thing is that another way I think Aquarius will be manipulated sometimes, given that Aquarius is very, they're the kind of person, I talk about them having that universal friend syndrome, so to speak. They may be able to make connections easily, but as far as the deep attachment can take some time. Now, the thing about it is, if you have, let's say that Aquarius is involved with a significant other, right? Now, if somebody tries to get to Aquarius too deeply, too quickly, Aquarius might back off very quickly. Some cases, this might actually be employed to get Aquarius to disconnect from the relationship, and the other person can back out gracefully, so to speak, without saying to Aquarius, hey, I don't want you around me anymore. Sometimes when I look at this, another thing, a way that Aquarius could be manipulated, I think, is just general rude, inconsiderate behavior. Aquarius, I think, often can epitomize consideration. They're often very considerate people. They could be the ones that will take the shoes off when entering a home. They'll suppress their burps more so than the average person. They don't like, anything that could be rude or inconsiderate, they can have an anathema to. They generally the kind of people that won't talk out of place. They'll let the other person finish speaking before they speak. They try not to talk over others. What could exasperate Aquarius and get them to become agitated is when people start doing those things. When they start acting rude, they're inconsiderate. They come into Aquarius's home. They don't offer to take their shoes off. They walk around. They don't, they leave a dirty spot somewhere, indiscriminately and acting like it's no big deal. Those are things that if in some cases this could actually be an attempt, I think, to get Aquarius upset, because people that can get close to Aquarius can sense that and detect this about them. Now, and another thing too that could exasperate Aquarius can be when they're not allowed to express themselves the way they are. That could be seen as idiosyncratic or unusual behavior. This is something where if they're at a job or there's something where they feel like there's something about themselves that is inhibited from them being the way they want to be. This could be something which could be a tactic to get Aquarius to leave, to extricate, to make Aquarius go and leave the place of employment or what have you. This is something too. I mean, the thing I want to get is that when I look at Aquarius, this is something. What I want to actually get at, what I need to do, is go to as far as the zodiac sign that Scorpio falls on in the natal chart. That could be the area or sector in life where one might be most susceptible and vulnerable to manipulation. Now, in a solar natal chart, the zodiac sign Scorpio often falls on the 10th house cusp for Aquarius. Now, the thing about Aquarius is they may be very susceptible to manipulation by superiors and authority figures. And I think a lot of this could actually be attributed to the fact that Aquarius is often very selfless. They can have very strong humanitarian instincts, very benevolent. A lot of times, the supervisor, authority figure there at the place of their career, they could capitalize and take advantage of it. People often can see, including authority figures, Aquarius's ingenuity often that they bring. They're innovative in ingenuity that they bring to the position, to that place of business or what have you. And authority figures, again, can often be very cognizant of this and use this to their advantage and capitalize on it. The thing about this is, and also say if Aquarius is on a salary position and they're in whatever it is career related they're doing, they may be taken advantage of because of this and asked to work extensive hours, because Aquarius is often about very selfless energy. And thus, of course, that what there may, even though it's a salary position, it's like their hourly amount, of course, goes down when that happens, of course, when you start working extended hours and you're on a salary position. And another thing, too, and again, I mean, the supervisors may take advantage of Aquarius's copious intellect. And another thing, too, how I think this manifests, this Scorpio often being on the 10th house cusp in a solar natal chart for Aquarius. Again, as far as this manipulation goes, remember that the 10th house is also about one's public image and reputation. Well, I think in some cases I could see where, I mean, Aquarius, again, as I've stated, having that universal friend syndrome, they're often anxious to make their friendships. Say they're on Facebook, some social media site, they get some friend request. And Aquarius might actually be in a hurry to take them. And what could happen is, in some cases, it could be a fake profile. It could actually be an adversary. And actually getting Aquarius being their friend, they often will see all this info, maybe some personal info that's on their wall. It could be some enemy that's getting ready to exact vengeance on them, because keep in mind, I mean, this is Scorpio is often on that 10th house cusp in a solar natal chart for Aquarius. And they could start writing to Aquarius's friends on the site and start bad-mouthing them, doing things of that nature, getting some info on them, maybe using it later on against them, repeating it to the wrong people. Those are that's another way that can manifest. Now, another thing I want to talk about is that the zodiac sign Pisces often falls on the second house cusp in a solar natal chart for Aquarius. Now, what happens with Aquarius is, hold on again a minute, people. Sorry about that, I'm back again. Anyway, I think the way this manifests is that Aquarius can often, be very selfless. They're often selfless in terms of things and in monetary things as well. And they can have very self-sacrificing and compassionate energy as far as material things go. Aquarius, sorry, but anyway, Aquarius is just one. I think where they could be suckered, so to speak, are things of a monetary, material nature, because they don't really often look at material things as very essential or very significant. People can become cognizant of this. They could say, well, hey, Aquarius, I'm going to take such and such from you. I'll borrow such and such money. I'll borrow, say, I'm throwing this out there as an example, $50. I'll pay you back $60. And Aquarius may go for this. And a lot of times Aquarius is not necessarily, again, talking about Pisces. Pisces, what I want to elaborate on, I didn't say this earlier, that Pisces, of course, can be about deception and duplicity, and that could be tied into manipulation. And that is why, and again, Pisces often being on that second house cusp in a solar natal chart for Aquarius, what could happen is Aquarius can be deceived a lot, I think, in the monetary and things of a monetary material nature. Sometimes they allow it, I think, to happen because, again, they may even sense that in a lot of cases, these people, well, they may take this, but they may not give it back because they're not really overly concerned about things of a monetary nature anyway. But at the same time, people may wind up using Aquarius, sadly, for things of a material, I'd say of a material nature, and things that are monetary, their resources, things second house related. Now, and also Aquarius sometimes could be tricked perhaps into fraudulent financial schemes. That could be another thing, possibility as well. It could be something where they're asked to get put money into something, and then they don't necessarily see their return on it, and something about them, they're just often I think a lot of it's because they're just not worried about those things that often, but at the same time it could set them up for getting involved in something where they might really be taken for a ride, so to speak. So anyway, another thing is, in general, as far as Aquarius goes, and another thing that Aquarius might do, and as I stated before in that example of Aquarius as a child, they might be actually tricked by a parent by asking them to do something, and then they do the antithesis of that, which is what the parent originally was trying to get the Aquarius child to do. As an adult, Aquarius might be asked by, say, a significant other, as an example, between choice A or B. They might say, a person might say to the Aquarius person, well, get such and such, and the Aquarius might go the other way. Let's say, as an example, well, we have a choice. We'll either get the Wi-Fi doorbell or use a conventional monitoring system or video camera. And if, say, the person says, let's say the person that's talking to Aquarius says, well, you know what, why don't you get the conventional monitoring system? Well, Aquarius might go the other way and decide to get the Wi-Fi doorbell, and that might have been the intention of that person. That's kind of, because they may know that Aquarius might a lot of times automatically go the other way. And again, it's not so much about that Aquarius is necessarily this disputatious or argumentative or really difficult person, but a lot of times they're just like about this non-conforming energy. Somebody might say, well, why don't you use the coil spring compressor to get the coil spring out of the vehicle or whatever, or in there, or whatever it is. And Aquarius might decide to use a hammer and screwdriver or something to do it, just to go another direction, just so they could be like, okay, I'm going to do something maybe that might be seen as unorthodox. It's something like that with Aquarius. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment of how I believe the zodiac sign Aquarius can be manipulated. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be talking about how I believe the zodiac sign Pisces can be manipulated. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.